Oh my god. This is crazy. My mind is running right now. How much is influenced by bots? All right, let's get it. Why the internet feels so dead now.
What if we live in a simulation? I've got to take that off the table. I don't think we're in a simulation. It's not a simulation if we didn't create it. To the untrained eye, this might look like a typical online conversation.
It's not a simulation if we didn't create it.
To someone familiar with internet culture, it might seem like a Reddit user talking to themselves. But in reality, it's neither. This conversation comes from a Reddit user Ask Reddit GP2 bot that is nothing more than artificial intelligence. It originates from a subreddit called Sub Simulator GPT-2, where every post and comment is generated automatically by a fine-tuned version of OpenAI's GPT-2 language model. Now take a look at the comment section under this video. You might already be there, or you might be too early for there to be many. How can you be sure that the people you see down there are real and not just bots like the ones on Reddit?
Bro, I'm not gonna lie. I be seeing like bot comments all the time on TikTok. It'd be like, yo, who wants a spiritual reading? Or it'd be like, yo, do you need your account recovered? I'm not gonna lie, the dead internet theory is so real, bro. It's hella bots on the internet. It's a bunch of just artificial activity.
You might have confidence in your judgment, but in 2023, it's estimated that over half of all internet traffic came from bots, and that number has likely only grown since. As artificial intelligence and algorithms evolve, the line between human and machine is becoming increasingly blurred. But the scariest part is that these bots aren't just passive noise. They're being used to manipulate the real people on the internet. The online
snap. You think we're being controlled by the elites?
World you think you know is far more fabricated than it seems. So let's dive into why almost nothing online feels real anymore.
Damn.
I'll tell you what is real though, really fresh and pure. The sponsor of today's video, Graza. As someone who cooks most of their meals from scratch, thread titled Dead Internet Theory. Most of the internet is fake. They began by explaining that the theory was originally written on Wizard-chan, an online image board similar to 4chan, but for men who maintain their virginity past the age of 30. Not that that's really relevant, I just think it's interesting that places like this on the internet exist. The post goes on to say, the internet feels empty and devoid of people. It is also devoid of content.
Renaissance, thank you, bro.
Compared to the internet of, say, 2007 and beyond, the internet of today is entirely sterile. There is nowhere to go and nothing to do, see, read, or experience anymore. It all imploded into a handful of normal fag sites and these empty husks we inhabit. Yes, the internet may seem gigantic, but it's like a hot air balloon with nothing inside. If you're an older Gen Z or millennial, I think you can at least somewhat relate to this guy's feelings. The internet's first decade was more of a fun playground than anything else. Web pages were simple texts, games were powered by Adobe Flash Player, and forums were more prominent than social media.
Damn, that was Happy Wheels? Yo, chat, who was around for the Happy Wheels days? And I was doing Happy Wheels videos because of PewDiePie. That's crazy.
Media. Though you couldn't verify whether the person on the other side of the screen was real, they always had deeply human elements to them that no computer system, at least at the time, would be able to generate. I'll never forget the excitement I felt exploring different web pages.
You would have been up if you kept going? I don't know. I feel like I got in my head a lot during that time and I changed a lot as a person. So,
OG social media sites where
if I would have kept the same channel and not gave a fuck, then who knows where I would be low-key. I'd probably have hella subscribers.
Posts were created just for the sake of posting something cool with no hidden incentive. In my early days of playing the game RuneScape in a web browser, when a random player went up to me and traded me and gave me 500k coins for no reason, I stayed in contact with that high-level player for months. But after a little while, he never logged in again, vanishing like a ghost, only to be replaced by an onslaught of bots. And this is a good first place to take a look at what these bots and the people responsible for creating them are really trying to achieve through their existence. Imperva's 2024 Bad Bot Report, an annual analysis of automated non-human traffic, found that gaming had the highest percentage of bad bot activity. Now, unlike the speculation in most of these dead internet
I'm thinking of like a Fortnite lobby
theory videos, I'm not here to debate about the overall percentage of bots online because that's nearly impossible to verify. Instead, I'm just going to focus on how gaming and some parts of social media have been overrun by bad bots. In their report, Imperva says bots can cause trouble by taking over user accounts, creating fake accounts to exploit benefits, and cheating. They do difficult or impossible things for human players, such as performing high-speed interactions with the game to beat human players or farming virtual virtual currency, items, or experience points continuously. Gamers know how disruptive and demoralizing being in a virtual world with bots can be. Their actions have a perfect efficiency, and they can achieve what you can achieve with a mouse and keyboard in a fraction of a second. But the most striking parallel to real-world issues is how bots manipulate in-game economies and influence player behavior. And to observe how this goes down, let's go back to RuneScape. Yes.
Oh my god. This is crazy. My mind is running right now. How much is influenced by bots that we just probably don't even think about?
Another excuse to talk about RuneScape in my videos. RuneScape has its own entire economy in the game, since you can trade between players and it has its own open market, and these items can only be obtained through playing the game. It usually follows that the higher your stats are, the more valuable items you can obtain and sell, kind of like how well-established businesses who have trained their stats in real life can control certain markets. But with enough bots, you can make an item that used to be considered valuable virtually worthless by flooding the market with more supply of that item than is in demand, just like real-life markets. This makes it impossible for the average player to make good money per hour in a certain skill or method that is overruled by thousands of bots that have been programmed to perform the tasks of that method as quickly as possible, because the market gets artificially inflated. And therefore, that part of the game won't even be worth playing anymore, or worse, the entire game itself, the entire...
What's the benefit of them doing that though? Just to alter the gaming economy? That just seems like they're sucking the fun out the game. I don't know. Maybe Nizzy is an AI bot? Nah, you know what's crazy though? I'm starting to see a lot more AI slop content on YouTube. I don't know if that's like with the rise of just like faceless channels, but bro, I be seeing method pages and they be getting views too. And like the person used AI to make it. And it's like, as a creator, especially somebody who's trying to push their personality more and really try to be relatable, it's like kind of demoralizing to see somebody get a lot of results off an AI slot video. But I think YouTube, isn't YouTube like, what you call it? Aren't they like cracking down?
Economy could get ruined. But the effect of RuneScape's in-game economy doesn't just affect the game, it can start to affect the real-world economy as well. During the late 2010s, as Venezuela's currency collapsed, RuneScape became an unexpected source of income for many Venezuelans. Thousands turned to bot farming, generating in-game gold and exchanging it for US dollars through something called real-world trading websites. This virtual economy provided a lifeline, helping people pay.
How RuneScape is helping Venezuelans survive. For years, Venezuelan players have been making a living by playing RuneScape. I'm not gonna lie, that is very like sad, but at the same time, that is so crazy.
Rent, buy,
what? What do you mean?
Food and support their families. However, the influx of bots disrupted the game's economy, flooding the market with resources and drastically devaluing in-game currency, mirroring real-world hyperinflation. I don't use this example just to talk about a game that I have an eternal love for and what it taught me. I do so to highlight one of the many intentions and advantages of using bots to manipulate the real world. When you create these lifeless scripts that can often go undetected on different realms of the internet, you can use them to change the way the online world functions. And if that online world attracts enough human traffic, it can begin influencing how people interact with their physical reality after they disconnect, all to the advantage of the bot's creators. So why wouldn't the big corporations start to take advantage of this as well, and do so in a way that makes the bots seem like humans? In September 2023, Meta announced the launch of social AI bots on their platform, including a series of celebrity lookalike chatbots and AI-generated profiles.
Oh my god.
With distinct personalities.
I hate
Among
that.
them were Hi Mama Liv, described as a proud black queer mama of two and a truth teller, and Hello Grandpa Brian, a retired textile businessman who is always learning. These AI-driven accounts posted pictures and captions generated by artificial intelligence, with Meta claiming their purpose was to enhance entertainment and engagement. However,
did they actually like get followers though?
Backlash quickly followed, leading to Meta deleting all the AI accounts. The official explanation was that a bug prevented users from blocking these accounts. But does that really justify wiping them out entirely? To me, that excuse feels weak. It suggests that there's something deeper, maybe something Meta didn't want to admit. We already know Meta thrives on data collection and selling that data to advertisers who use it for hyper-targeted ads. So the most obvious conspiracy theory is that these AI profiles were designed as data harvesting tools, subtly extracting user information in a legal way. By encouraging
Damn.
real users to interact with AI, particularly in private messages, Meta may have been creating a new seamless method of gathering insights on human behavior, preferences, and conversational patterns, all of which are extremely valuable to advertisers. Engagement on your platform is also extremely important to report to shareholders, and by injecting more AI accounts into their platforms, they can unnaturally boost the amount of active users. Kind of in the same way that companies post fake job listings.
Oh my god, the ghost. Bro, have you ever applied for a ghost job? If you're gonna look for a job, applying online isn't even worth it. If you really want to get a job, you gotta go in person. Because a lot of these companies put out these ghost jobs to scare the employees that work in the company to make it seem like they're always trying to hire their replacement. That is crazy.
Just to make it
So a lot of people will apply and they'll be automatically denied because it's not a real listing.
seem like they're growing, as we explored in my fake job epidemic video. But then there's the manipulation.
And then old heads will tell you, suck it up, pull yourself up by your bootstraps. You never had to deal with fake job listings before and a fake job epidemic. And yeah, y'all dealt with 2008, but we're literally approaching a crazy recession, bro. And like retirement is probably not even going to be a thing for our generation. We're going to work until we die.
Aspect of it. Social media platforms have long been filled with obvious low-effort bot accounts spreading misinformation. But what if
Blue trying to FaceTime me? Yeah, that's
these AI
a bot.
profiles were a more sophisticated evolution of the same tactic, designed to fit in, appear human, and shape narratives in a way that feels organic? Twitter is a prime example of how low-effort bot accounts can shape a narrative. But estimating the exact percentage of Twitter users that are bots is a little difficult. Twitter's internal reviews suggest that around 5% of its users are bots, while external estimates have placed the number closer to 15% as early as 2017. A former FBI agent even speculated that over 80% of Twitter users could be bots.
Do you think that's true? What's good, Sensei?
So, this claim remains purely opinion. Creating Twitter bots is really easy.
What's good? You chilling, Unk? Yeah, we watching this video called Why the Internet Feels So Dead
Thanks to the platform's robust API, which allows developers to automate interactions. And if you spend any time on Twitter, you've likely encountered waves of bot accounts flooding replies.
Yes! Oh my god, bro. Especially those like crypto accounts. Yes, there's so many. Or those porn pages. Yes.
But what's more concerning is that many accounts that users assume are real might be fake, designed to manipulate public opinion on major issues. A study titled Bot Percent, estimating bot populations in Twitter communities, found that between 8 to 14%
Yo, do you think that this has an effect on like streamer communities at all? Oh no.
Of interactions with Elon Musk's Twitter poll on reinstating Donald Trump were generated by bots, and online communities focused on politics and cryptocurrency experience elevated levels of bot.
Oh yeah, all those crypto pages are fake.
Interference.
Cobra Tate 14.90.
Partisan news media also faced higher rates of bot-generated comments. Ironically, in response to his poll, Musk tweeted Vox Populi Vox Dei, a Latin phrase meaning the voice of the people is the voice of God. If by the voice of the people you mean a specific demographic of people and some computers, then yeah. Another study titled The Spread of Low Credibility Content by Social Bots, which analyzed 14 million messages on Twitter in 2016 and 2017, found
This is what I mean when I said the internet is just not real life.
evidence that social bots played a disproportionate role in spreading articles from low credibility sources. A sophisticated network of bots creating their own posts can manipulate human perception
shit is so crazy.
by fabricating a sense of consensus. If these bots appear
Damn, so now, bro, do you think that the viewpoints that you have are actually yours, or do you think it was influenced by AI?
authentic, people who lack tech literacy may struggle to differentiate between credible sources and content engineered to push specific narratives. This is particularly dangerous when it reinforces pre-existing biases. For instance, a Trump supporter only engaging with pro-Trump posts or a Kamala Harris supporter doing the same.
Yeah, that's called an echo chamber. Oh my god. You know who's really susceptible to being caught in an echo chamber, bro? Old heads. Bro, IG Reels, that's like the king of echo chambers, bro. That's the echo chambers of echo chambers. I'm not gonna lie, it is crazy how the internet can influence your personality and your belief systems, bro. Think back to how you were like in 2019, 2020. You probably were a completely different person. I feel like in 2020, I was a completely different person than who I am right now. 2020, 2021, I was completely different. And then I began to realize, like, I began to learn more about the internet and realize that a lot of the stuff on the internet is bucket getter was good, bro.
These bot accounts give them even more of an incentive to fall into a certain narrative that fuels their confirmation bias and leads them to become even more polarizing people, making them
that's why there's radicalization of the internet. You think that's really due
less
to AI?
trustworthy of anyone who doesn't hold the exact same beliefs as them. Social media was already amplifying this effect, but as AI accounts become more sophisticated and widespread, this issue is only going to escalate, which is going to deepen ideological divides and make constructive dialogue even more difficult. And it doesn't even need to be bots creating these posts. In fact, it can be more influential to create bots that comment on posts that spread dangerous ideologies or misinformation. How many of you have been watching or reading a piece of content only to scroll down to the comments in the middle of it? Then based on the top comments, some of which are often bots or comments that are very bot-like, you subconsciously get influenced to feel a different way about what's being played in the video. It's the same way that some of us rely on our favorite critic.
Do you guys ever feel like that? I feel like that's happened sometimes, only when I don't really have a strong opinion. But normally I know how shit works.
Tell us how a movie or TV show is before we watch it. Only now, many of the people telling us how to think about a certain idea aren't even people. And that brings me to the climax of the dead internet theory. The part of the internet, particularly on social media, that completely changed the way we think and act. Algorithmic-based feeds. Starting around 2015, just about every social media platform stopped showing you people you were following or subscribed to, and instead began recommending you content based on an algorithm tailored to.
Because bro, oh my god, yes, a feed. Because a feed will keep you on social media longer because it's gonna be tailored to things that you like. The algorithm knows you better than you know yourself. Bro, do you guys remember? I don't know if you remember this story, but there was a lady who found out she was pregnant from her purchasing history on Amazon. She followed the trend of somebody that was pregnant, and she was like, why am I getting recommended pregnancy? And then she took a pregnancy test and found out she was pregnant. The algorithm knows you better than you know yourself. Trey, what's good, bro?
To your interests. The reasons for these companies doing so is pretty obvious to us by now. By continuously updating your feed based on what you engage with most in real time, social media keeps your brain stimulated, making it harder to stop scrolling. The longer you stay,
and then that's why people make content for the algorithm.
The more ads you see, maximizing profits for these platforms. But what this has created is...
Yeah, that's the goal of every social media platform, is to keep you on there as long as possible. So then they tell advertisers, yo, we got 1 million people concurrent from this time to this time. And it can tell you how many viewers are online. But to be honest with you though, there's gonna always be people on social media though. I don't think that there's a best time.
It's a term that I ironically discovered.
Because have you guys been seeing those posts on TikTok where they be like, 8 a.m. sharp, 5 p.m. sharp. JK was good. 8 a.m. sharp, 5 p.m. sharp. There is no best time to post, because when you post, they send it out to a specific number of people to see what their response is gonna be. It's capped. So it doesn't matter if you post at 8 a.m. If the content is it's not gonna get pushed. So what are we even talking about? Especially on TikTok. Yo, what's good? Sector raid? Thank you so much for the raid. That really means a lot. But yeah, let's continue. Let's get back to it.
Through the algorithm in this really excellent video by Technology Connections.
Nah, I'm finna
which
leave.
He calls
bro.
algorithmic complacency. You see, social media and the internet as a whole used to be a much more proactive process. If you wanted to watch a topic about something funny or interesting, you would have to search for it and then subscribe to that person to get more of it. It was a conscious choice, and therefore what you consumed was more intentional. But now it isn't really your decision to consume what you consume. It is based on what the algorithm recommends you, which is based on what people are engaging with the most and how well that
I thought it was like what you interact with though.
Matches with your current interests. On the one hand, this makes your social media feeds an interesting tool for self-discovery. Popular creators such as Gary Vee have reiterated the point that social media is not inherently evil, but rather a mirror.
Is Facebook a force of good, a force of evil? Does it matter?
Facebook is a mirror. Everybody's super pumped about blaming other people for their own Technology is exposing who you are, not changing you. Facebook's a mirror.
Mr. Beast reinforces this point by claiming that...
Do you guys think that? Audio delayed. Oh, let me fix it. Oh, I remember I was playing the game, that's why. Okay, this should be good. Good looks.
The algorithm is the audience.
Essentially, by studying the algorithm, you'll learn that you're more studying human psychology, right? What do humans want to watch? Anytime you say the word algorithm, just replace it with audience, and it works perfectly.
While there's
Yes,
some
sir.
truth to these statements, I hate the sentiments behind them and how reductive they are. A much better analogy to social media would not be a mirror, but rather a cracked mirror. For instance, let's take junk food. Junk food is scientifically engineered to be as addicting as possible. It takes advantage of your most primal brain areas and exploits them to keep you overindulging, thus
Damn.
resulting in you gaining weight or feeling like if you can't
Nice.
control yourself. Does that mean you would be as addicted to food if it wasn't intentionally designed to be this way? No, you wouldn't, although you could argue that if junk food didn't exist, you would just be addicted to something else. These social media algorithms work in the same way. They are not engineered with any moral
I'm over here trying to think about how I could capitalize on all this.
in mind. They are designed to keep you hooked on the platforms as long as possible, even if that means it exploits the parts of yourself that you wouldn't like to keep being reinforced into your identity. In other words, social media isn't showing you who you are. It's showing you a partial version of who you are. Usually the more insidious parts of yourself that are attracted to addiction, drama, negativity, and lust.
Bro, human beings are so addicted to drama. We are so addicted to the negative, bro. Oh my God. You could say, yo, like Mr. Beast could be like, yo, I helped 1,000 people. You'd be like, oh, that's cool. Mr. Beast murdered 1,000 people. You'd be like, yo, what? What do you mean he murdered 1,000 people? It's just like human nature to be attracted to negativity.
The point can then be made that it's the consumer's responsibility.
That's why low key, you know what I want to start doing now? I'm trying to get more into like Hope Core. I feel like everybody should watch Hope Core every single day, at least one video a day, so that it pops up on your feed, and that will reinforce your mind and make you a better person, and it'll make you more motivated and more attracted to wanting to make your dreams come true.
To navigate social media carefully and
Starman is not Hope Core, bro. That's like on some tomorrow's teaching shit.
stay conscious of the fact that sometimes they choose to click on something that negatively affects their mental health because social media is kind of exploiting them. And that's absolutely true. It is your responsibility. But algorithmic feeds are inescapable and often unpredictable, which also supports the idea that social media is not really a mirror. Sometimes content appears completely unrelated to your interests, proving that social media isn't just reflecting who you are.
Yeah, it'd be a few videos that pop up and you're like, why the f is this getting recommended to me, bro?
It's shaping who you become. This subtle manipulation can reinforce beliefs you might never have adopted through conscious research, making algorithm-driven feeds far more influential than most realize. And it doesn't just influence consumers, it
I agree with that. I'm not gonna lie. Looking back on some of the eras I had, yes.
influences creators too, like me, making everyone a bit more like an algorithm. As a creator, if you really want to get consistent views and turn this into a business, you're no longer thinking about what your subscribers or followers want. You are thinking about what the algorithm wants. On TikTok, that means copying trends that other people are doing and then repeating that content over and over again with no originality. On YouTube,
I think that's just the layout of TikTok though. Kai was good. That's literally the layout of TikTok. TikTok is a music-driven app, and it's all about following trends and doing dances. There's like, that's the point of the app. What are you talking about? Duh.
That means copying titles and thumbnail ideas and only changing them a little bit and repeating the same thing.
Yo, I'm not gonna lie. Yes. The drama videos, hell yeah.
And then repeating that content over and over again with no originality. On YouTube, that means copying titles and thumbnail ideas and only changing them a little bit and repeating the same thing over and over again. Guilty. On Instagram, that means copying the same voice intonation as every other creator of your niche.
Hey guys, come with me. Hey, get ready with me today to go ahead and get fucked. Yeah, so blah 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 blah. I went up and I got up and I blah 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 blah. Oh my god, those videos are like, everybody tries to talk the same and they try to make it seem like they got this big personality, but it's really not. It's so unoriginal.
Over and over again.
Is the Corner Store the hardest restaurant to get into in New York City?
This hidden gem in Kitsilano just launched a brand new dinner menu.
The cutest girl brunch spot in Brickell has to go to Hampton Social and Mary Brickell Village.
There's a new restaurant in Markham, and look how cute their menu.
You know what's crazy though? There's people who like, I know that their For You page, just from like being in the car with them and hearing their swipes is straight like these videos. The best food spots, the best things to do. Hey guys, come with me to, it's the same, bro, oh my God.
Once one person cracks the code, everyone follows suit, prioritizing engagement over.
Yeah, because you're trying to follow the method. You obviously, you see what works and then you take bits and pieces of it and you try to make it work.
Originality. And in this way, the internet kind of rewards creators who behave like algorithms.
I'm not gonna lie though, that's just called being humans though. Human beings follow trends. Is it really the algorithm at that point? Or is it that somebody saw that you struck gold and they want to recreate a similar outcome, so they try to do the same thing? Is there really, I have a question for the chat. Is there really such a thing as being original? I don't think so. I think that there's nothing new under the sun. Even Virgil said it, take something that already works and change it by 3% and it's something new. I don't really think there's such a thing as coming up. There's nothing new. Everything is a remix of something else.
Recycling successful patterns rather than innovating.
If it ain't broke, don't fix it. Have you never heard of that?
Also has a ripple effect on consumers. They start thinking, speaking, and engaging like the creators who get the most reach, turning social media into an echo chamber of the same ideas and behaviors. It discourages open-mindedness.
That low-key, that's why I'm trying to be like myself. A lot of people feel like they need to be like Speed or they need to be like Kai and they gotta be high energy. Yo, chat, yo, W this, L that, They just gotta be loud as hell and super energetic and they gotta be dancing and they gotta start spamming. They gotta start spamming the soundboard. Oh, but realistically, bro, I just feel like I gotta be me. And obviously you still gotta try to see what works and try to replicate it, but you got to do it in your own way. And that's what makes you stand out. And critical thinking and encourages tribalism and groupthink. And all of that feels deeply inhuman. Now, of course, let's get some nuance. How is tribalism and groupthink is literally human? I'm gonna be honest with you. Since we're talking about dead internet theory, most people are NPCs anyways. Most people inherently are followers. Is that a lie? How many times have you ever had a friend and you start doing some shit? Like you start saying a certain catchphrase, right? That you got. After a while, that friend will start saying that catchphrase. There's been so many times where people have took my lingo because I'll say some shit. Sometimes I'll take somebody else's lingo. Or you notice, especially bro, have you noticed with that Nike ski? Everybody wears that Nike ski, bro. Oh my God, one person put it on and then everybody started wearing that bit. It's just natural to follow a trend because human beings inherently, we want to fit in. Nobody wants to be a standout. We're like wolves. We're like ants. If one person does it, it's corny. If another person does it, they're innovative and everybody just follows along because everybody plays follow the leader. Nike Techs, yeah, but Nike Techs have been around for the longest time too. But that's what it is. That's what culture is. Culture is just the way that people do things.
As AI. For one, small creators now have much more of a chance to be shown on more people's feeds. Before, like you had to be a huge creator to get a ton of views and you needed a ton of subscribers. Now, as long as you are appealing to the trends and the formula that's currently working right now on social media, you can be discovered by a ton of people and go viral and blow up. And if used properly, the feedback you get based on the performance of a piece of content can lead you to think about how to make better content, objectively better content in the future.
Oh, hold on, he's spitting game.
And increase your audience retention. But if you're optimizing everything for a machine, you inevitably start thinking like one, following patterns, chasing engagement, and prioritizing predictability over creativity. And this is where the real dead internet problem lies. It's not just about more bots flooding the internet. It's about how the internet subtly programs humans to behave more like bots. Meta is still going to push AI-generated social media accounts, and they say they'll only become more integrated into their online spaces. AI influencers not created by Meta are already gaining massive.
This person is not real? Bro, imagine you following a bad and she's not even real. Oh my God.
Followings. Now, I want to emphasize that being super hyper vigilant of all of this and trying to analyze everybody's comments and wonder if who you're even talking to is real and being untrustworthy of everything you see on the internet is just as unproductive.
That just gave me a mini headache. Bro, imagine you shooting your DMs to a AI profile
as being completely oblivious and ignorant to what I went over here, but I do urge you to step outside of the algorithm from time to time and be more intentional with the content you consume. Ask yourself, do I like the person the algorithm is shaping me into, and is this content making me less open to people with different perspectives? Stay healthy.
Yeah, that's one thing that I actually been working on this past few years, was I noticed that anybody who had a difference of opinion than me, I would get mad and I would always try to argue with them. And I would always try to prove my point because I always felt like I was right and they were wrong. And a lot of the time, bro, people, it's not necessarily about right or wrong. It's just that like people are going to find their own way of doing things. And you have, in order for you to grow, and you can't have an ego, you always have to be a student. And there's a lesson in everything.
Healthily skeptical, think independently, and don't let any singular worldview define your beliefs, including this video.
Exactly. No, that's true. That's why I try to be like water. Just gotta flow through the world. And that was a good ass video.